Welcome, everybody, to this episode of The Reluctant Leader. I am your host, Gajinda Bogle, aka The Reluctant Leader, and I am joined today by none other than Zamiha Desai. And she's a very good friend, and I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. And I cannot wait. Now, before we start having this conversation, Zamiha, not that you probably need an introduction, but just in case there's anyone watching or listening that doesn't know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself and letting everybody know who they are going to be in conversation with today?
Oh, thank you, Gajinda. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for
I
having me.
know.
So I am Zamiha Desai. I am the founder of Recommendation and Professional Asian. They are community groups on Facebook. They're getting really big. So we have nearly 90,000 members in Professional Asian, nearly
Wow.
75,000 in Recommendation, and they are for your Asian lifestyle. So we help people, we help women, we help businesses, and we help services access a niche platform full of British Asian people just like us.
I love it. I honestly love it. And I think, you know what, we're underplaying this a little bit. And I want to uncover a little bit more on how this all started because essentially it's a Facebook group, right? But it's
Essentially, yes.
grown essentially, right? So if you break it down, it's a Facebook group, but it has grown into this incredible community, brand, and a business as well, fully fledged business as well. But I want to unpick it a little bit. Where did it all start from? Where did it start?
It started, well, you've had a recommendation for something before, right?
Yeah.
It's basically that. Everybody's done it. Everybody's recommended something or bought something that has been recommended to them. And for me, as a British Asian woman born in this country, probably, assimilated into the culture a lot, into the Western culture, I had not, and to be fair, probably still not, uh, have so much access to my Asian culture. So, in terms of cooking, in terms of dressing, in terms of traditions, and it's such a rich tapestry and it's so beautiful. There's so much
Mm.
heritage, the clothing, the colors, the jewelry, uh, the way that people are. The family orientation. There's so much to talk about with that. But we kind of maybe miss out on some of it because we're at university where with a whole range of different types of people from different ethnicities and countries and backgrounds. And at some point in our lives, and I think it's usually for me and my friends, is when we've had children, we kind of want to return back to that cultural heritage that we know and love but don't know enough. And that was basically it around recommendation. Somebody had recommended me a sari pleater. I didn't know how to tie a sari myself. I always had to go to my mum's house so that she could do it for me. And this gadget changed my life,
A
literally.
sari pleater gadget.
So
Oh,
it looks
wow.
like a book. I should keep one here and just
You
show you.
should.
It looks like a book, but you hold it like spine side up, and then it's got hooks on it. And so you hook it round, and then you fold the next leaf down, and you hook it round again, and then you lift it up so the pleats stay in place. So that's the best way I can describe it. But for me, that was huge because I can't do this thing at all.
And just to put this into a bit of context for anyone who is non-Asian that might be listening, a sari is basically 6 meters of pure fabric. And what you see is a beautiful art of how you tie it. But actually, in essence, it is just 6 meters of this beautiful fabric. And there is an art to tying it, which
Mm.
is often held with our mother's generation. So you asked a friend for a recommendation on a sari pleater.
Well, I saw her wearing a sari every day, and I was actually just laughing at myself, saying, God, I can't even put one on.
I
And she
can't either.
told me that her secret gadget. So I went off to Amazon and bought it, and I was like, revelation.
Can you imagine
Really.
if Amazon get an influx of sari pleater
They
sales as a
don't
result
sell
of
them
this
anymore.
conversation?
They don't sell them anymore. That's the saddest thing. Every time I tell this story, I get at least 10 people asking me, but they don't sell it. I've tried to source it. I've asked somebody to go and source it. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I would love to get my hands on one again.
Amazing. So you heard about this sari pleater and you went on Amazon and you bought this sari pleater.
Yeah, and then I wanted to tell all my friends I found this amazing thing that could change your life, because everyone I know wears salwar kameez because they don't know how to put a
Yes.
sari on. So I thought, what's the best way for me to kind of tell my friends? And I was actually in another Facebook group, which was a lovely group, but it was mainly kind of North London Jewish mums, talking about stuff like, lots of stuff. Like, it was product recommendations as well. Um, and I thought I would tell these people, but they're not going to be interested because this is so specific to my culture,
Yeah.
and there's hardly any Asian people in this group. Um, so I created my own, and I thought, okay, let's just talk to the Asian women and just let them know and see where it goes. And that's what I did. It's funny because it took half an hour. Yeah, just come up with the
And how
name.
long ago was this?
Yeah, 7 years, 7.5 years.
7.5 years ago, you
Mm.
just created this group to just share this sari pleater with your friends.
Yeah, there was like 200 people in there.
I mean,
And
and did anything else go through your mind? Because I would just send a WhatsApp. If I was in that position, I would be like, I'm just going to go into all my WhatsApp groups and just tell all my friends and all the people in the groups about this new thing. Why a Facebook group?
because I guess I like the two-way thing. I like the
Mm.
structure of it. I like that you can go back to posts and you can search, and everyone has this commonality. And they were literally, that first cohort was probably mainly born in this country, mainly around my age. They were like me. They were literally
Wow.
like me. So it wasn't everybody, it was my friends. And then and then my friends asked their friends to join because they thought, yeah, this is useful. Then it was like, what skincare do you use? What red lipstick looks good on Asian skin? What, how do you get your sink shiny? How do you like make kebabs?
Wow.
It was like such a big cross cultural, um, you know, from Gujarati and Pakistani, like British um, born overseas. So many different types of people came and contributed, and people that were married to Asian people. So maybe English ladies or whatever who were married to Asian people were like, oh, I'd like to make this for my husband. I'd like to know about Diwali. I need to know what to wear at a Sikh funeral. I mean, who like if you got no one to access to tell you these things,
Yeah.
then it's like a big group of people that can tell you exactly what you need to know.
100%, right? And it's just, and I've been there myself. I was thinking back about my journey with recommendation as well. And I remember I used to get my barfi recipes from there.
Mm.
So people used to share like these Oreo barfi recipes, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, oh my God, what? This is amazing. I'm absolutely going to do that. And I made loads of them and gifted them all to my family. And the best thing was, as a user and as a participant of this group, it cost me nothing
Mm.
to get all of that information, which was absolutely amazing. And I think, before Instagram and stuff came about, Facebook was kind of the social network
Yeah,
to get all
absolutely.
of this information from. So then, okay, you've got this group and it's growing and growing. Friends are inviting friends, and it's just growing. What was the pivotal moment where you thought, there's something in this, so I'm going to turn it into a business?
So recommendations started first, and there were lots of guys. As the word grew and the group became bigger, obviously, like, the wives were telling their husbands about it. So a few things happened.
So this
One
was
was
just a pure women's group.
this. It still is a pure women's
Recommendation.
group.
It's a okay,
Recommendation.
pure women's
Yeah.
group. Wow.
Yeah.
75,000 women in one group.
Yeah. And awesome women as well.
Yes.
They're so cool. So, but they obviously kind of told their husbands about it, or discussed things, that might have been happening on the group, or had like cupboards that were dismantled sitting around for ages, and all of a sudden they got a handyman, they got their shelves put up, they got their garden done, all through recommendations. They got a new waxing lady, they got a new cleaner. Like, people's lives started to shift a little bit, some in a massive way. So we've had people that come about domestic abuse and stuff like that, and Seema helps them out so much. And or just little things like, where can I get my eyebrows threaded? But everyone is impacted in a slightly different way, like birthday recipes or whatever. So I think the guys were like, oh, some of them were like, oh, your new group, my wife is just loves it, and she has sorted everything out. I don't need to build those shelves anymore. Other guys were like, can I join the group? Because there was a recommendation for an architect, and I want to put myself forward. Can you start a group for men? Because this is a really good idea. So I had quite a lot of positive feedback from guys, but I'm not a guy, so I didn't feel comfortable starting a group for them. I didn't really want to let them into recommendation, because I thought it was a really sacred,
Yes.
safe sisterhood. And I loved that about it. And so professional Asian started because actually the one thing that we can all talk about is business. And there was a lot of women on RA promoting their businesses as well. And it was getting a little bit adverty. So I thought, okay, let's just take the adverts out of RA, keep it as a pure peer-to-peer advice group, and recommendations, and like genuine, authentic stuff, and then get these super talented, passionate, wonderful businesses. And some of them are so amazing. They had the fusion recipes and the food and um the understanding of the culture, and the PTs knew about the Asian diet. And you go to a PT at the gym and they're like, yeah, eat steak and broccoli, and then that's not necessarily something that an Asian person would
Where's the chapati?
exactly. Give me my dal and roti and tell me the macros on that, right? So so I think it was just that right time that people wanted to like improve their lives, or buy stuff, or have services that people, they understood that you have this Asian background. A lawyer would understand that, when gold gets gifted to the bride, that some mother-in-laws think that it belongs to them, and it's like family heirlooms, and who actually owns the gold, and all these kind of little nuances that we have. It's important that somebody understands that you're going for a service, or you're going for advice, and people get it. And I think that is where it came into its own. Now I've forgotten the question.
About when it came to a business, when it started as a business.
Yeah. So on professional agent, they started advertising, and it was getting busy. It took up a lot of my time in a good way. Like, I loved it. I was working full time, and I had these two fabulous groups, and I had some great admins that it helped, and that they're fantastic, and they're still with me, and they're amazing. But it is like it is a bit overwhelming when you're trying to raise the family, and you're trying to work the job, and you're trying to manage this community. And I think it was, oh, I don't mean this to sound bad, but you see people making so much money. Like, I literally saw people like making a lot of money because of the groups, because they become a marketing platform. And really, I had a platform that you could market to this niche community. And 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 we also got some real rubbish on there as well. Like, people just spamming kind of MLM companies, and energy savings things, and people that would post and then not interact or not reply to people. And so for me, it was important that I was spending all this time on it, and I wanted to grow it, and I thought it was sensible to make an income from it as well if I was going to dedicate that much time to it. And I also thought, well, if people are paying, then they're going to be invested in actually making the most of the community and
Yeah.
communicating well with them, rather than just spamming and going off. And it was like they're just casting their net really wide, and not really being invested in the people that they're talking to. And community is about people. It's about, the sharing of ideas and the interaction between each other, and the support, that you get out, but you also give. So that element of it takes nurturing, and it takes time as well.
100%. And that's one thing I love about it, that it's actually about the relationships.
Mm.
And I have seen over the years that it is pure value. And
Yeah.
actually, you're very strict on the kind of posts and the kind of things that are in the group. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that looks like. So, can you tell us, like, how many posts you actually get in a day, and how many make it, and how many don't?
Probably about 60% make it.
Okay.
Um, some we go back to and ask them to change certain things. For example, you can't say, I want a Gujarati lady to cook some meals for me. You have to say, I want somebody to cook some meals for me that knows how to cook Gujarati food. So it shouldn't be based on ethnicity, and it certainly shouldn't be based on gender or age or anything that's discriminatory.
Yeah.
So it's not that they don't make it, it's just that we want to tweak it to
Because they've
be.
got to add in the location,
So
potentially how
yeah,
much they're willing to pay, all of those kind of things.
yeah, because we don't want, it's a group for professionals. So Professional Asian is a group
Mhm.
for professionals. I don't really, I think we had one that I don't normally speak about them, because it's not nice. Like, if people make a mistake, then they make a mistake. It's fine. Everybody's entitled to. So I don't go around kind of bashing them, or anything. But there was one that really, really annoyed me, and I did speak out and say something, because it was just a really good example of what not to do. And so there was a central London venue that wanted to have some good looking models, um, and
Okay.
um, and pay them in uh, food and drink.
What?
Yeah, and I just thought, you're a central London venue, which means that you are definitely like putting some, money behind the rent
You're
and the
premium. Yeah.
I'm like, they're obviously doing a film shoot. I don't know which film company these days that is worth their salt, if they're going to, go on a big advertising campaign. Will, come down, set up, shoot, edit, correct, direct everything for free. I don't think, I don't know.
No.
Um, and then, there's, they're having food and drink, so they want to shoot like a party scene. So they want like sexy people to come in and, pretend to party. And so these models who have trained, maybe done catwalks,
Mhm.
look after their skin, go to the gym, maintain their bodies. They might not eat certain things. They might not like, they restrict themselves for their profession. They've trained, they maintain themselves, right? They put effort into their job. It's not just like, okay, let's just turn up and model somewhere. It's the way you stand, it's the way you pose, it's there's so much to it, which people take for granted. You can't just rock up and be a model, and then spend 5-10 hours of their time just pretending to party, and for that you get what, a glass of champagne and a few nibbles.
That you probably wouldn't eat anyway.
Yeah, that's true. They're like all carbs, fried carbs, not happening. So I just thought that, you're overstepping here. And I didn't say their name or, anything, but I did call out this type of post, which is hugely
Mm.
unfair to the media industry, the modeling industry, people's time, respecting, their worth. And what? So you're going to go and advertise and all these beautiful people and get all this business and people coming to your venue, and there's no recompense for the people that helped you get there and invested their time in you. Like, it's not. I'm not. I don't really like all this TFP stuff, um, which is time for prints. So if someone's collaborating openly, then
That's
that's one
different.
thing, and they can choose to collaborate. And I think collaboration is wonderful, it helps businesses, but don't take the mickey out of people when they have a profession, and don't expect them to do stuff for free, because you wouldn't.
No, 100%. And I think, do you know, that's one of the reasons why you have such a big following, because you are a bit like power to the people. And where other people won't say things, you step in as the admin, as the top honcho, and say, no, this isn't good enough.
No, that wasn't good enough. That it's not fair. People
Yeah,
don't need exposure, they need to pay their mortgage.
100%. And talking of paying mortgages, we're not going to talk about your mortgage, but you mentioned you had a full-time job.
I did.
So what were you doing before recommendation?
I was I was in the project office for a big retail brand.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was in charge of the reporting for all the projects, so all the IT projects and stuff. Yeah.
oh my God,
I
no,
You
really?
make that face, but to be honest, when I started the job, I loved it. It was,
Yeah,
out of all the jobs I had, this was my favorite. I was paid well. I loved my team. I loved the people that I was interacting with. I was a bit out of practice, but at that time I was kick ass on Excel. I was like VLOOKUP queen, and like,
woo!
spreadsheets and pivot tables, and I was doing really well. Um, and then a change of management came in, and they decided to turn everything topsy turvy, made a whole load of redundancies, and a lot of stuff fell on me that was not really my responsibility. And for me, didn't give me what I needed to do my job, because I did rely on project managers. They got rid of all the project managers. Like, project managers are the people that I interacted with. So I
Yeah,
had to go, to the IT teams and the scrum masters, and they changed everything from waterfall to agile, which is just a different kind of project
yeah.
methodology. But when I say different, it's vastly different. Um, so it was all topsy turvy, and I wasn't loving it. There was a lot of pressure. I was doing like 10 people's work. I was home. Kids were, put the kids to bed, and was on the computer and like really working my ass off, um, because there was just not enough hours in the day for everything that I had to do, and the expectations on us, because they expected the standard not to drop. Yet they'd taken away all the people that gave the data. So it was not a good time in my job at that point. So
Then recommendation, were you a bit more fired up then when you started this Facebook group and it started to grow? You saw that opportunity. When did you decide to leave your job and go full time with the business?
I think PA had got to about 10,000 members or something like that, 10, 12,000 members. And I could see what was happening with these businesses. Like I said, they were doing really well. They were getting clients, the cake makers were baking, and you
Mm.
know the the builders were building, and everybody was doing so well. And I was like, this is really good for small businesses. This is really good for the community.
And can I just mention here, when you say doing well, you're again underplaying this, because I've been around you when I've heard conversations of people saying, Zam, thank you so much. I've made over 100K in revenue without even having to advertise, just by being in these spaces. That's the
Mhm.
kind of conversations, right? That you're
Yeah,
having with these business owners.
yeah, absolutely. They have done phenomenally. So they have literally, like, we've launched businesses on their,
Mm.
they have become who they are because they launched, and I hope that we help them get the confidence and
Yeah, and give them such a great
the business
platform.
savviness to enable them to do so. I've had people say, you put us on the map, that I wouldn't have this shop if it wasn't for you and your support. And there's so many people that, like, 80-90% of their business comes from PA and RA. There's this one lady, she pays for the year membership, but she only ever advertises for 1 month at Diwali. But that pays, and every
Wow.
Diwali she runs out, no matter how much she makes. So she always sells out. And so, when you hear stories like that,
Mm.
that it's really like putting people on the map, or it's just generating so much business. This is their livelihoods. This puts a roof over their head. It might be their main business, it might be their side hustle. They're doing something they're passionate about, or whatever their reason, we're helping. And that's huge for me. That was, why would you not want to make that into your job, to help all these entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah, 100%. And, it's like it's changed your life, and it is changing so many other lives out there, so many lives of entrepreneurs and even budding entrepreneurs that are emerging now because they've already got this platform straight away that they can go on, that gives them the opportunity to launch whatever it is that they want to launch.
Yeah, and the female entrepreneurs, they're really good at what they do. They do the
Mm.
multitasking. They know how to speak to people. Their communication is different. Their nurturing style means that they really know how to nurture a customer and a relationship and keep them for a long time. They're really good at what they do. And I think there's not enough female entrepreneurs, and I think this has helped give a lot of them, especially within recommendation, their confidence, their market, their clients, their appreciation of what they do, and it's helped them grow. And there's so much growth to be had. I mean, you're entrepreneur yourself. That journey is insane sometimes, and it's really nice that they have us, they have each other, they have people like you to be able to support them and help them grow. It's just, you know,
It's
it's
beautiful, isn't it? It is
it
really, really beautiful when you actually, and I'm in your world. I'm so honored that I get to actually be in your world and I get to witness this on a daily basis. But it is actually, people love being part of this world, which is just really, really beautiful. And actually, it kind of shows you a contrast to what sometimes the big wide world is, where in business in the big wide world it's not as nice, that
is.
sometimes you don't get these opportunities, you don't get these well wishers and cheerleaders that actually just want you to do well. And I think both of us have spoken about some of this as well, where actually outside of your community it's not the same, but we
I
won't go into that.
Yeah.
We won't go into that today. But one of the things I do want to ask you, Zam, is did you always want to be a business owner?
Oh God, I had no idea.
Wow.
And you know how you said, outside of, all right, it's not the same. I know you said we won't talk about it, but I do want to touch on one element of that, um, which is maybe the reason why it's not the same, and the reason why it's been so good for people is because it didn't start with me ever wanting a business. It
Mm.
didn't start from a place of, I want to do XYZ. It was never about me. Like, it was always about them. It was always
It's
about
about
the
the
community.
community, wasn't it?
It
That
was
key
always
ethos was
about the
about the
other
community.
business. I didn't
Yeah.
have my own business, right? This eventually became my business, but I didn't have my own business. And so there was kind of nothing in it for me. Like nobody was, I wasn't competing with anybody because I didn't have my own business. Like I can imagine that if you're, I don't know, a makeup artist, then you might like want to keep all the, if you were running the platform, then you might want to just limit to the number of makeup artists there were on the platform or something. I mean, it's just self-preservation, isn't it?
Mm.
But I never had to do that because I was not anybody's competition or anything. I was, I guess, more of the conduit for them to be able to collaborate and be um, kind of a bit more objective about everything and help people on an individual basis as well as a group basis. So I came from a very different place. So I think that that is maybe the reason why we're a little bit different to other people, because and other communities and in the outside world, because I didn't really have anything to gain by helping or lose.
Or lose, yeah, or lose. And I think that's one of the most unique things about you, that if you do look at, competitors and stuff like that, that there is really no real competition, because what you have built is so unique
Yeah,
that there is no real competition or competitors or, any of that kind of stuff, which is quite amazing.
there's people doing the same thing, but as far as I'm concerned, all of our goals are to help small businesses. So
Yes.
it doesn't matter that we're doing the same thing, because ultimately it's about how a small business can develop and grow. And they will actually never be able to grow just on one platform.
No.
We can help them. We can help launch them. We can give them the confidence. We can give them tools that they use, but they have to use that within the platform and outside the platform,
Mm.
right? They can be in, professional agent, but they can also run Google ads. They can also boost posts on Facebook. They can also advertise in newspapers or local magazines. They can also do pop-ups. They can also be in networking groups. They can also, do television ads. They can also do radio ads. They can do anything and everything that they want to. We're one channel, but hopefully we uplift them and give them the confidence to do other stuff too.
100%. And I've noticed that as well, because even as your associate coach, as a marketer, I come and share all the other stuff that they do. And you never ever say, oh, do not promote this over this, because actually, the biggest success is when they're doing absolutely everything.
Yeah, and they
So
should be. They should, as a small business, you should be doing everything you can
everything. Yeah. The
to
bits.
promote your business, to get exposure, to get out there. And it you need to do what you can afford to do, and more importantly, what you can afford to lose, because it's all a little bit of a risk. Don't go spend £10,000 on Google ads if you can't afford to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Obviously. But you can dabble with £100 here and there, see what the effects are, learn and grow and learn and grow.
100%. So, Zam, if you didn't want to be a business owner, what
Mm.
did you want to be?
Like I said, I was very happy in my job. I
Were you
like
going to be
project
project
management.
management for life?
Yeah. Well, actually, weirdly, I started out doing TV production.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I started doing TV production. I did my degree in media studies, and I was freelancing, and actually that freelance lifestyle didn't really suit me. I found the media industry very cutthroat, very
Mm.
hard, and I'm quite a soft person. Like, I'm an enabler. I like helping people. I'm not one to kind of step on people. And I felt like sometimes that's what was happening in the media industry at that time. I mean, this was like 30 years ago. Um, but I worked in there for a few years, and then I needed, I think, a bit more stability. I wasn't very good at not know. I wasn't very good at managing my money, and I wasn't very good at not knowing where my next paycheck was going to come from, because freelance was short-term contracts, and it could be, well paid. It could be rubbish pay. There was just all sorts of variables. So I did start working in a bank, just in the back office. And I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. And then after a few years, I got the opportunity to um, do my, I got the opportunity to do my master's. And I said to my boss, I said, I'm going to have to leave because I really want to do my master's. And I'm only free Tuesday and Friday. And he turned around to me, he said, I don't want to insult you, but do you want to do the post? And I'm like, excuse me. So the lady that distributes the post is leaving, and she works Tuesdays and Fridays. And so if you want to, just carry on working when you're not at uni, then all you have to do is, I had to do the post for the floor. So the mailman would deliver the post, they'd sort it out into floors downstairs, and then they would bring it up like 3 times a day.
No.
And I had to put it on the right person's desk. And I said, well, how much are you going to pay me? He goes, don't worry, we won't drop your rate because you're temping. So
So you were the highest
highest
paid
paid post
postwoman
person
ever.
ever.
Postwoman Zam.
Yeah, and it was great because I get the morning, I'd deliver the post really quick. Like, I wasn't slow. I was just like, yeah, fatafa. And then I'd like go and do my like work or my degree stuff, or just study and everything. And then I'd go for like a super long lunch.
Love that.
Then I'd come back and I'd do the afternoon post, and then I'd do the evening post, and I would leave um, twice
But
a
you
week.
couldn't
So
see yourself doing that for life.
no, no, no. Yeah, I digressed a bit. And then, yeah, and then when I came back, I got the opportunity to um, be go in the project office as a project support officer. So then I did that, and that's that's how I started in this. But I do feel like that project management was actually quite similar to TV production in that you had like small projects to do, like you had
Mm.
small TV to do, you had to organize stuff, you had to coordinate stuff, and I enjoyed doing stuff like that. So actually, the skills that I learned there were fully transferable, and then after that, that was in the banking industry, and then after that, God, I had quite a few jobs. I worked for Pizza Hut, worked for um, Autoglass, a few places.
Wow. And then is it right to say that you were, really don't want to insult you when I say this, but you
Mm.
were not as well known when you were in your corporate world? And now you are a little bit more well known. Can you talk about how your life has changed now being the founder of this incredible platform compared to 7 years ago when you were a project manager?
It's really funny you should ask that, because when I was the project manager, I did feel like the one thing I craved more than kind of money and pay rises and stuff, I think it's just recognition of
Yeah.
how hard we worked, yeah, as a team. Like, we all worked really hard, and even as an individual, like, I created so much stuff. I was like really imaginative with my, I don't mean with my reports as in the data, I just mean in the presentation and how things looked and how people understood things, and you know uh, giving information to the stakeholders and everything. So um, I think, when it comes to manifestation, it's like I almost had like, I want, my boss to recognize that I did this XYZ, and it never happened for me. Um,
Mm.
but I think what I wanted was the recognition. And I think once I kind of let go of the how, like how I want to be recognized, what I want to happen, and just be like, okay, I just want some recognition for something that I'm doing. That's when RA came along. And
Wow.
that's,
So
I
you
think,
manifested it.
yeah, but I didn't know. Like, I had no idea. This is
Yeah.
why it's so important to take opportunities and do stuff, even if you don't know where it's going to go. It doesn't matter that you don't know. It
And I
matters
guess
that you're doing something that you enjoy, and I think everything you want will come after that.
also,
So
you didn't make money on recommendation for years, but you still
no,
kept going with it, right? Because it was just a free platform and you still kept going with it, not knowing, but you knew you were building an opportunity, but not knowing where it was actually going to take you.
yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it was that recognition, and I guess some kind of validation that I was doing something good was more important to me than money. So I didn't tell my husband uh, what I was doing.
I remember this story. I do remember this.
He came home one day and he's like, yeah, people keep coming up to me at the restaurant and telling me I should be proud of you, and I don't understand why. And I was like, oh, I just started this Facebook group.
I
And
just
he's
done a
like,
thing,
yeah,
just a
I
little
just done
thing.
a thing. And he was like, yeah, people are really enjoying it. And I was like, okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you for the feedback. And he's like, well, what is it? And so I told him about, all right. Then it was a women's group. He actually wasn't really very interested, which is fine. I just kept doing my thing. And he was like, it's, people come up to me every day and just tell me how good it is. And he was like really proud. And I think he, as you know, he's no longer with us. He sadly passed away last year, but he was really pivotal in everything that I'm doing. Like the
Mm.
support of your family, your friends and everything is super uplifting. Um, and I don't think he ever really got it either. I don't think he understood how I did this, but he was just happy. I think that I was happy, and so
Mm.
he said to me, "If you want to leave your job, and try this professional Asian thing out, then do it, and I'll support you for 6 months. If it doesn't work, then go back to
Go
work.
back to
And
work.
project office you can pretty much pick up any time in the city." So I said, all right then. So I stopped and I stopped working and I started on this, and it was really actually really hard, and took longer than 6 months, but he never knew that. I just racked up my credit cards, and he never he never knew. I was like, yeah, it's going really well. But I think in the first year I made about 3 grand, which
Which
I
is
was still
normal, right? Which is
I
a
was still
normal.
in the black, so I was quite fairly proud
Yeah,
of
and that's
myself.
normal in business as well. And I guess one thing, I think we're both quite similar, where both our husbands uh, are in business
Mm,
and they done business conventionally,
mm,
probably more than how we may have done it. And we actually do business very differently to
mm.
how they do it. How did that work for you guys? How did that dynamic work for you guys? Because he's got bricks and mortar businesses, or he had bricks and mortar, he had the restaurants.
Yeah.
And obviously he's like, what is this online community?
Yeah, he was. I mean, like, he was obviously he was part of PA, and he was mildly interested in RA. His biggest question is like, did anybody ask anything about sex, or is there any naughty person? No, that we don't sit
I'm
there and talk
surprised he didn't set
about
up a fake account.
sex. Yeah, I'm like, no, we don't sit there and talk about sex all the time. Sorry. Um, but and like anonymous post, he's like, can you tell me who it is? Who is it? Who is it? I might know them. I'm like, no, you
No.
can't know anything. Um, but yeah, with PA, I think like he enjoyed being part of it. He got it. He understood everything a little bit more, but um, I still don't think he understood for a while. Or he was just like happy letting me do my thing. I don't think he understood how it would grow and how it would become sustainable. And I think when he got sick, actually, that is when the business kind of came into its own for me, because I could work from anywhere. I didn't have to have a desk or an office. I could go to the hospital appointments with him and,
Mm.
do everything on the phone. I could take him wherever he needed to go. He needed like dialysis 4 times a week, and I could just be doing my thing at home. And if he needed me, he'd call me, and I could like be upstairs in seconds. and it helped him out with anything he needed on the machine. So it was a godsend, and it was a blessing
Yeah.
having this as a business that was generating an income for me, but allowed me so much flexibility to really, be the kind of wife I wanted to be, and be the
Mm.
kind of mother I needed to be as well. So I will always count my blessings with this, because it's more than just a job. It's When you say it's changed my life in so many ways that you probably would never know. Like, because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of admin. There's, things to sort out. There's, memberships, and there's people, and there's like, I've got a team. It's like, kind of doing everything, managing all of that, as well as, your children and the cooking and, the husband and all that, and the sickness. There's
And then
so
the
much.
families, because you've got, in-laws as well and parents.
Yeah. And they're all getting older, and
Mm.
it's nice to be able to just. I know my mom gets annoyed with me when I go over and I'm like, I just got to check my phone, But
But
such is the life, right? It's literally, when you have your own business, you're pretty much on 24/7 if you want to be. You
But
can
the
choose,
amazing thing is we can run our businesses from our phones. That's
which
the
is
most
so
amazing thing about it, that you don't have to be in an office. You can be at your parents' house
mm.
doing whatever with them, and your phone is just ticking, your business is ticking along on your phone.
Yeah, totally. So,
Mm.
and I think you do, as an entrepreneur, you do feel a lot of pressure to, stay on top of everything and make sure everybody's happy and stuff like that. And it can be overwhelming. And it's, for me, I find it quite useful that I can just, go on my phone and just check in now and again and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, 100%. Same with me. I'm like, I've got the team doing their thing in the background while I'm having amazing conversations like this,
Exactly.
which is brilliant. So, Zam, we've got recommendation, we've got professional Asian, and there's so many other spin offs that have come out of this as well. And I don't even think I know the extent. So, there's mini Asian as well, which is for Asian parents with kids. You've
Mm.
also got Connect Asian as well, which is like the dating part,
The singles hub,
the
yes.
singles hub. I don't know why I know about that, but I do know about it. And is there anything else? Are there any other spin-offs? You've got Hey Gorgeous.
Yeah, so Mini Asian is run by Ronnie. She has two kids, and I think she's totally the right person to run it. And she's great. She shares a lot with the group, and she's like had miscarriages and stuff like that, and she's very open and honest about her journey. So it's very supportive, and she's a real empath as well. And I think it's important that if you've got kids and you're not really sure, like maybe how to wean them or how to potty train them,
Mm,
as well as we've got like Smithy, who like teaches Gujarati, and
yes.
we've got kids yoga and breathing and doulas and all that kind of stuff. So like it's nice to have that
Separate
parenting
community, isn't
community.
it?
And the reason it's separate is because we, we wanted it to be current. Uh, Not that anybody has bad parenting advice, but things change so much with what
So
children
much.
have access to, the
Mm,
toys, the stimulants, the theories, there's so much. And I think, our parents raised us very differently to how parents raise their children today. So it was, if you want advice, I didn't want like, especially things like breastfeeding and stuff. I didn't want all that. It was just nice that it's in a separate little community that is just about the children. And Amit and Niyati run Connect Asian, which is a lot of fun. We've had a few weddings on there, lots of dinners,
really?
lots of
Oh,
singles.
how amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's been
Love
really
it.
good. Yeah, it's been really good. And it's just like-minded people.
Yeah, singles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
singles, yeah. And
Love
then
that. And
Hey
then Hey
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Hey Gorgeous is my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. How did that come about? How did Hey Gorgeous all come about? And if you explain to everybody what Hey Gorgeous is.
So Hey Gorgeous is a big shopping event. So we have the entrepreneurs in our community with clothes and jewelry and home accessories and beauty and skincare and tuition and just such a big
Well-being and
range
lots of
of
stuff,
things,
right?
everything.
Yeah.
And then obviously the people that that want to
Like the
access this
products.
stuff, yeah, that like to shop and not only like to shop, but it's great because you can get everything online. But you want to try things on. You want to see the
Yeah.
fabrics. You want to smell the perfumes. You want to taste the food. It's a real life in person experience. It's like for me, it's like the groups in real life.
It's
So
like
that
the
my
ideal home show, right? But
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah. So my exhibitors are like professional Asian, and the people that come are like recommendation. It's just like
love
the
it.
perfect marriage of the group
Yeah.
in the real world. And that started with Harry from Black Cube. So I met her at a networking event, and I recognized her name from Facebook. And I introduced myself, and she recognized my name from Facebook, and we became. This was November, and so we became like friends kind like like talk to each other and message and what have you. And I think it was about January. She said, why don't we do a pop-up? And I was so new to this, like I literally just not even been around for a year. Like I don't think we'd even started. I don't know if I'd even left my job yet. I think I was just in the process of
So
moving.
what year was this? What year are we talking
So we
about?
started 2016. I don't think I left my job till 2018.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so so I think I met her at the back end of 2016, if I remember
Wow.
correctly. Yeah, and so she talked to me about this. She's like, you've got so many people, so many businesses, and in your communities, and so many people wanting to shop. Why don't we do a pop up? And I'd only ever been to kind of one pop up before. I didn't really know, and that pop up was like one person.
One tabletop, one stall.
No, it was the thing is, if you don't have a brick and mortar business, it makes sense to hire out a space and
Mm,
invite people and show your wares, as it were. I think that's a very sensible thing to do. So
yeah.
I'd been to a pop up, which was the clothes pop up, and I thought, well, that's cute. It's a good idea, but I didn't really know what a pop up was, and so yeah, so she said, "Oh, let's do this," and I was like, "Okay, well, we can try it." And I have to say that I wouldn't have had well, I probably wouldn't even have the idea, but I definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to do it without her. She was like fantastic. Um, and then we, some somebody had made a complaint about one of the suppliers on PA. And this supplier rang me up and said, this lady has complained, but it's not, she didn't give us a deposit. So we didn't actually have her as a client. So it's not really not fair that she's making this complaint.
Yeah, that's fair
We
enough.
didn't do, anything because she was never our client because she didn't give us a deposit. And so I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. So I contacted this lady and I said, what's going on? She goes, oh, this was 5 years ago. And I was like, well, I don't think it's really fair that,
Yeah.
you've never actually hired him. This was like a long time ago when they're probably learning, you know, their journey and everything. And, maybe they could have done things a bit differently. Maybe you could have, who knows? It was 5 years ago. Like they didn't really do anything wrong, did they? And she's like, well, no, not really. So I said, oh, do you mind taking the post down? So it wasn't a post, it was a comment. So she took the comment down. And so I rang him and I said, the comment's been taken down. And he's like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I said, so what exactly do you do? And he's like, oh, we're an events company. And I said, well, I'm looking for a venue for a pop up. And so he said, oh, I've got one. And I said, but we don't have a big budget. This is like new and we just want to help small businesses. And he's like, yeah, let me see what I can do. And he got us the Hive and he offered to sponsor it. And his name is Upesh from Avari Events. So
Oh,
he he actually set it all up for us, didn't charge us anything, just obviously had his branding everywhere. Got Shimla to do the food, got Alex to give us the hall for like not very much money, um, and actors like be sponsors, so their branding was everywhere, and they they did so much. It looked amazing. And yeah, we had, I think, about 40 stalls.
Wow, your first ever one.
Yeah, we did. We
Amazing. Uh,
and
and
so
then
many
now
people that are still, we're still friends. Like Chintal was there, with
as
her
Chin's
Naan
Kitchen.
Kata. Yeah.
And just to give people context, I didn't start my business until 2018. So this is not even, I wasn't even around then. I was still in my corporate world. So this is even pre me being in business, which is like amazing to hear now.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some really good, clothes and
Wow.
jewelry and food, and pretty much the same as it is now. I think we had about 1,500 people through the door.
My God. Okay. And then fast forward to this year.
But then Harry decided that she wanted to concentrate more on her um home, like her black interiors, which
Yeah.
is fine because that's a lot of time that she puts into that. And this is quite a lot of time trying to organize Hey
Mm.
Gorgeous. So
It's a business on its own, isn't it? Hey, gorgeous.
yeah, so then Upesh said, "Oh, you know what? I'll do it with you." And I was a little bit reluctant because Upesh was very set in his ways, and I was like, I don't know if I could work with
Mm.
him because we're quite different personalities, I thought. But I was like, but I don't want to not do Hey Gorgeous. Like, it's so much fun and it's so beneficial for all these businesses. And so I said yes. And then we did it properly. Like, it's under Hey Exhibitions, registered it, with our
Oh.
accountant, and, did everything properly, shareholders and all that.
So this is your second
Company
business then?
house. So this is the second business. So I was
Wow.
50-50. So, and it works perfectly because he does all the setup and the admin and stuff
Yeah.
that I hate to do. And I get to work with people like you and run the
Yeah.
workshops and get the exhibitors and get the people in and do the influencer strategy and all the stuff that I
All the
enjoy
fun
doing.
stuff.
Yeah, I do the fun stuff, which he doesn't find fun. And what he does, he likes, but I don't find fun. So we both have fun doing stuff
Mm.
that each other hates.
And I guess you know what? This is a good lesson in business, right? That you don't have to love everything and you don't need to know everything as long as you take up the right opportunities where these two skill sets or few skill sets can come together to
Yeah,
create
it
something really
is. It's
magical.
all about the balance of skill sets. You don't
Mm.
need to be the same person. You need to be completely polar opposite if you can, but have the same vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then
and it works so well.
oh my, and so 40 stalls first, Hey Gorgeous, 40 stall holders, 40 business owners, 1,500 people through the door. Fast forward 6 years.
105 stalls, 8,000 people through the door. Of
Wow.
which you were finally one of them. Thank you
I
very
was
much.
one of them. I came through the door. I was number 8,000. I actually came through the door. And do you know what? I've been to a lot of shopping events and this was just something else. And yes, the kind of businesses at the event you just don't find on Amazon. You don't find by Googling. And
No.
I actually took my children with me as well, and they picked up some things as well that they absolutely love. They've still got them on the bedside cabinets, and they were just like, these are amazing, that they would never ever gone to a toy store and seen these kind of things, which is just so amazing. And I guess that's the most amazing thing about the platform that you've created. You just give so much opportunity to so many businesses, which is absolutely amazing. When is the next Hey Gorgeous?
23rd, 24th of March 2024.
So get it in your diaries, guys, because it's honestly an event not to be missed. And Zam, I know we've gone on longer than we planned to. It was obvious that was going to happen with us two having this conversation. But my last question, as a reluctant leader yourself, as someone who never thought she'd be, and I don't want to call you a business owner, I actually want to call you a leader because I really truly feel you are such a leader out there. What advice would you give to anybody that's listening to you right now that might have been in the same position you were in 6 years ago, that have got opportunities coming their way, but, you know, because it's not making money or they don't know what the future looks like, they might not take them up. What advice would you give them?
Don't chase the money. And that's easy to say for me because Sham did, you know, fund me while I was doing this. So you have to do what works for you. If you've got a family that can support you while you're trying to do your business venture, great. If not, you know, see how you can work it out with work or in your free time or however it works for you. But don't not do it.
Mm.
Do it even if you have to do it slowly, and don't say no to any opportunities. You know, there's not everything will work out for you like 100%, right? It's not that people like everyone, it's not a failure, it's a
Learning.
learn,
Mm.
right? uh, and some things go well and some things don't, and that is not on you. That is just the nature of being an entrepreneur. You have to try things and you have to know what works and you have to learn and grow and understand what you can do different next time, and also what you can do the same next time, and look at stats and look at all the data that you have to see how you can improve. And it's just like little constant improvements all the times and tweaks and doing things differently and letting things go. And I think, you know, just enjoy it, just enjoy it and understand that things are going to go wrong. It's all right, it's all good. I think it's very easy to get caught up in your own head about stuff, and don't chase the money. Like, Hey Gorgeous, for example, Hey Gorgeous is a great example because you have a good experience as a shopper because you see such a range of different things. As somebody that's running the event, I want you to
Mm.
enjoy the experience. If I chase the money, you know what? I could fill out the whole of Byron Hall with 100 jewelry people tomorrow. Like, it's not, I don't have,
Yeah.
you know, I have to make some tough decisions sometimes, but one of them is not about money. I could fill it tomorrow and I could make a shit ton of money, and you'd come in and there would be 50 jewelry people and, you know, 40 clothes businesses and like 10 of everything else. As a customer, you'd be like, this is overwhelming, right? As a business, you'd be like, I've got competition all around me. What is the point of
Everywhere. Yeah.
um so I would rather have an empty store than take money for something that I think didn't fit or wasn't fair to other people.
Well, there
Or
was too many of that type of stall over there.
yeah.
And I can agree with that because I came with my mum, I
Mm.
came with my 2 children, and I came with my friend. So there's almost these 3 generations of people and 3 different requirements, and we pretty much spent the best part of the whole day there. We were fed, we were watered, we spent lots of money on lots of different stores, and it was just such an amazing experience. And trying to keep a pensioner happy as well as 2 little kids happy. You know, there was a face painter there as well that done face painting, and my kids were over the moon. They got their face. So I really do agree with that. That it's not just any shopping experience; it's a very unique shopping experience.
Yeah, and that's what people come back for because they
Mm.
know they're not going to get the same old, same old. They know that they're going to get a range of stuff. There's going to be someone for everyone. And it would have been very easy at the beginning. We've had like 4 charity partners at one event because I couldn't fill the stalls, but I would rather not sell them. I would rather give them away
Yeah,
because I don't want to dilute what we've made. So it's not about the money because that's like maybe £2,000 there I just gave away. I would rather
yeah,
give away that £2,000, to be honest, than
and
dilute
be
the
true
brand.
to yourself.
Yeah, and live or like be in our authenticity. This is what we do. This
Mm.
is what we will do. This is what we won't do. And you know, touch wood. I think now I have 300 applicants and 100 stalls. You know, I'm not sure I can create that unique experience a lot more easily than I could have like 4 years ago. But I didn't chase the money then. And
Yeah,
so,
and it's paying off now, right? Literally paying off now, which is
yeah, it's
amazing.
paying off now. Now we do 2 events a year. Back then we were only
Mm,
doing 1, right? So we're doing
yeah.
2 events a year, and they're popular. Uh, they're good for the businesses. They're good for the people that come and see them. And it's not about how much we make. It's about the experience. And I think you, as an entrepreneur, you should really think about what experience the people that
Yeah.
you're affecting having.
And do you know what? I'm really glad you talked about that because not a lot of people talk about the customer experience. So it's really nice that we've got that perspective here today. So Zam, we are unfortunately gonna start ending the conversation. But before we do go, before we do let you go, if anyone is listening and they love what they've heard, how can they get involved? How can they get in touch with you?
They can, oh, I'm available everywhere.
Catch me anywhere now.
Oh, you can DM me. You can slide into my DMs on
Full
Instagram.
permission here.
Yeah, so my personal one is at Zamiha Desai, but I'm on at recommendation or at professional Asian, and the same with Facebook. And email is zamiha at professionalasian.co.uk. So you are very
Amazing.
welcome to contact me and talk to me about whatever part of your journey you're on and how we can serve you.
Amazing. And if for whatever reason anyone does not know who Zamiha is, feel free to come to me for an introduction if you need it, if you actually need it. Well, Zam, thank you so, so much. Really, really appreciate you taking the time out and having this conversation with me. I know it's a really busy time for you guys as well with the festivities and the campaigns going on in RA. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, sharing your story with us. It's been honestly so, so inspiring.
Thank
And I'll hopefully want to get you on again as a guest when we see you grow and expand even more.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
You are so welcome. Thank you, Zam.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Thanks, Katinda.
Bye.